right, on set Bravo, here we go. First one of SLC is FaZe versus TSM, and it's over to you.
Well, let's do it then, Andy. Welcome to SLC, brother. Good to have you back. Good to be here, casting this series, and what a series it is to start off. Like we alluded to on the desk in these conversations before this game has even started, this could easily be a late winners bracket game that we've seen so many times, and we get to see it here in Pool B, which has got to be, in my opinion, probably the biggest and most obvious pool death that we've had in Infinite.
It really is. This one is so stacked, and we've been talking about it on the desk for good reason. Now we get to see it in action here in your first match of the event. As Clutch also had mentioned, you don't always get this good of a pool play matchup, not only to start the tournament, but period, in pool play. So we're a little bit spoiled here with your first match of the tournament. I think historically we're used to seeing things like an Optic Gaming against a lower seed, things like that. Instead, you're seeing TSM versus FaZe Clan kicking it off here in Salt Lake City.
And if you saw what happened at the last event, you will know how important every single game in pool play is going to be. It is going to influence how those brackets look. The question is, will the brackets look as unpredictable as they did back in DreamHack Dallas, or will it be a little bit more business as usual? Well, this is the first test for a new look FaZe Clan roster, certainly with some history behind them. And for TSM, it's a chance to strike early in pool play where they do their best work.
So much riding not only on this series, but even on this game number one to set the scene, set the stage for your entire tournament here. Looks like we're starting things off with Taulek on TSM.
Good to say, crowd is nice and full already early here on a first day of the event, which is what we like to see. SLC, a space station, they always do it right, Andy. We talk about it a lot, but there's so much to do here in the building. But of course, this is the main reason we're here. It's for the Halo. We've got TSM versus FaZe Clan.
Starting things off here on side, we'll see exactly how this is going to go down. It's going to be Lucid actually on your screen here, not Pznguin. We'll get that cam swapped out. It's going to be a Lucid early camo grab early on. We'll see what he can do here.
Lucid on your POV, get camo early here for FaZe. King of the Hill going to be the game type that we're playing. Controlling that first hill going to be so vital just to get a little bit of momentum in this game. And certainly momentum is going to be picked up here if Lucid can hit a couple of shots. Camo shocks in his hand already, so the opening strike here for FaZe has almost worked perfect.
Yeah, this is clean. You saw 3 dead as well at the exact same time that Lucid was grabbing not only camo, but eventually the shot. Now here comes the push.
Should be an easy cleanup, a little bit of damage done to that player. Just holding the angles here on tower. So difficult for anyone at the moment on the TSM side to try and flush out some of these FaZe players. Damage being taken, being pushed all the way back towards blue and struggling to make it even in towards tower at the moment. And look at the progress on that first hill. We are almost there already for FaZe, almost one to the good.
SnakeBite just anchoring A as well, what you expect him to be doing. Almost gets away with even more damage, however, finally will be taken out. But what a strong opening here for the side of FaZe Clan. This is exactly what you wanted to see if you're a fan of this new look of FaZe.
Manny's going to go down. I've got to say, TSM have barely had 4 alive, let alone a foot in that hill, and FaZe will strike first here. FaZe will be 1-0 up, and that was almost a flawless hill from them. 2 dead.
See exactly what Taulek can do here. Going to be another 1 dead on the side of FaZe Clan, which gives an opportunity, in the 2v2. And now it's going to be Pznguin coming back to help at C as well.
Pznguin trying to get in a position where he doesn't trade this kill, doesn't want that beat down to land. SnakeBite's going to come in to help us out. TSM, 2 in the death screen once again. Camo coming up in around 10 seconds time as well. But look at the time and the control of the map once again. FaZe being very efficient for what we've seen so far at the start of this game.
Yeah, I really love what I'm seeing here. And I think if you're a fan of these players, if you've been watching, of course, different looks of this roster, and like we said, it's quite a familiar one with the SnakeBite in the place of Formula in terms of previous Optic Gaming runs, or maybe the back whack. Yes, indeed. Finally, it will come through for Druk, and it's an important one there to keep them in this match as well. But as we said, if you're a fan of these players, that's what you expected to see. I think you and Wes put it really well on the desk. You're expecting efficiency and excellence from these 4. However, finding a little bit of opposition here on this next hill.
Yeah, starting to find a few kills, starting to find a little bit of momentum here. TSM, 3 dead for FaZe. SnakeBite's going to find 1 though, which is at least going to stagger and allow his teammates to get across the map. But TSM with a pretty good chokehold on this hill at the moment, and I think FaZe are probably thinking we're going to give this one up, and we're going to look to play for next.
And even though FaZe coming out so strong, it's TSM who answers back right away and ties it up here 1-1. So if you thought this might be an easy opening for FaZe, think again here. We're knotted up after the first 2 hills, 4 minutes left on the game clock.
Shock rifle about to drop as well off the back of the double kill that just came in from the POV of FaZe. TriPPPeY now moving down bottom middle. You can hear the slide coming out from SoulSnipe. SoulSnipe does not know he's there. SoulSnipe's got to be careful, and I'll tell you what, TriPPPeY nearly did it for him there, but SoulSnipe just about held his nerve.
Yeah, I like those shots there from TriPPPeY. Only one shot away from sneaking out a kill. He probably had no business grabbing. 6 kills apiece here, side of SnakeBite. Several players on 5 kills already for the side of TSM, and they already lead on the third hill by just a small margin. It's going to be a double kill here for SnakeBite.
3 dead on the side of TSM as well, and the turbine control and the hill control will belong to FaZe. Another kill here for SnakeBite. Damage coming out of him as well. Steps into the objective now to rack up a little bit of time and says to his teammates, I've done some damage. It's time for you to clean up some kills. And instead, he's going to get another one to his name. SnakeBite, the first player in the lobby to cross double digits in the kill department. He's double positive at the moment, 10 and 5.
10 and 5, what an opening, especially in a game. Nice shots here coming in from Taulek as he stays alive, but especially Lucid with the grab should be able to sneak away as well. He does. However, especially in a game that's this close, for SnakeBite to now be 11 and 5, that's quite a statement, putting the team on his back so far. We'll see if they can get the third hill.
Yeah, understandably, probably a lot of eyes on SnakeBite. Let's talk about his performances on that SSG roster. Not up to his normal standards, but certainly returning to form here as FaZe will have over half of this turbine hill in their control. TSM once again on the back foot, and you can see from the POV of Lucid right now that with another camouflage going their way, he's just able to patrol the map at the moment, find information, but as it dissipates in front of him, now it's about getting those kills, and some good damage onto Taulek on the battery should result in FaZe picking up some more kills here. There's one, there's the second.
More good damage as well, and look at that, how important. Look at the patience coming in from FaZe. 3 dead here for TSM yet again. The patience from Lucid to get that camo in the end and slowly pick apart Elevator. Then he picks apart pipes with beautiful damage into batteries as well. This should secure that second hill for FaZe Clan.
Stepping out here, trying to just drag TSM across the map, not let them set up at the back of blue where their next hill is going to be going. They want some engagements to take place where they can win those fights and then progress across the map to that next hill as well. They're saying at the moment to TSM, here's the cheese on the mousetrap, so to speak. Come and get it.
Love this. You don't see enough of this, in my opinion, but when you have a team that's confident, that knows exactly when they can take advantage of an opportunity like this to milk the game clock and take down that time when you know you're going to secure this is quite a statement. However, TriPPPeY is the last alive in batteries, and by being taken down, needs to be careful. It was 4 dead. Now they need to push. Can TSM have the perfect hold and the upset? What a statement that would be.
It's what you would class as a calculated risk from FaZe. Saying to TSM, can you break? Well, TSM have managed to break. And now, all of a sudden, FaZe was probably thinking maybe we should have just stepped inside of that hill because TSM are holding it down and FaZe cannot get across the map.
FaZe was 2 dead as well. Lucid, big opportunity here, needs to fly in. He can't. Look at the board. Look at the board. They will pay the price. They try to bait the hill. TSM punishes them. They take a 2-1 lead and they get 3 dead off the stop as well.
Oh boy. I mean, it's one of those, I say calculated risk, and you have to highlight the word risk because it means that things can go the wrong way, and that's exactly what happens. TSM steal the turbine hill away. They're up 2-1 now. And like you mentioned, SoulSnipe off the back of the kills as well. He manages to get the next camo. Good damage coming in, but I don't think those kills are going to be cleaned up. 2 players from FaZe have managed to break towards the long haul, and FaZe will have control of that next hill, but they've got to refocus here, FaZe. That's going to be a real heartbreaking moment for them.
It was perfect from FaZe. We could not talk enough about what we just saw with the camo grab, with the damage, just picking up every kill. They had 3 or 4 dead, and that's when they baited the hill, and it cost them. It's very rare that you see this at that level, and I would say very rare that you see a slip-up like that from these 4 players in their first series as a team together. What a series of events, however, they lead now in the 4th hill.
Lead into 4th hill, but at 2-1, it's interesting to highlight that TSM ahead in the game on the objective points, but heavily being outslayed at the moment. There's only 1 player on the TSM side, and that's SoulSnipe, who's positive, and he's only +1 at the moment.
SnakeBite here to be 16-8, and they're going to close this one out comfortably as the TSM's going to let this one go. We'll now be tied 2-2, but SnakeBite certainly has to be thinking at 16-8. How are we just down 2-1?
Yeah, and I wonder if, SnakeBite on our POV here was thinking, do I step out and try and repeat what we just had happen?
Absolutely
or
not.
Are we going to just make sure we secure this one and tie it up at 2-2? 1 minute 58 left on the game clock here, and FaZe decide that the risk was not worth taking this time around.
Maybe it'll be a little bit of a adjustment to the risk profile of FaZe Clan for the rest of the series, maybe even the tournament. That's the type of thing that you remember allowing that to happen. However, they look cool, calm, and collected here in the 5th hill now, leading by 50% to 0.
3v3 on the map right now. Camo coming up, and that bottom middle hill, such a difficult one to control, but FaZe have managed to control it for 50% of the time they need to go up 3-2 here, but now they're finding themselves 3, almost 4 dead as a spawner comes back onto the map here, and TSM have broken, and I'm pretty sure that TSM should have been able to collect that camo as well.
Should be, and now here comes the pipe push. See if SoulSnipe can hold this off. Takes minimal damage on the first pick. It's going to be a big deal. Finally, he is flushed out, so a 1-for-1 trade on the push. However, here is the camo for Druk.
Druk deciding to play for kills here. Doesn't want to get traded in this position, but does get traded in that position. TSM will lose control of the hill, lose a couple of players, and lose the power-up. And FaZe will step back into that hill for just a second there. Pznguin with an important kill. SnakeBite taken down as the numbers will be even now. Ooh. And this little run here from TSM might be the run they need to take the lead in this game. Lucid trying to stay alive on the stacks. He goes down. Pznguin last alive, and they know where he is as well.
Yeah, we'll see SnakeBite spawner here off the wall. Almost gets the stick as well. It's good control, and they might even close out this hill right here.
FaZe needs to get numbers on the map here. And they need to formulate one more push. They need to clear out the hill, and that's what they do. First kill is the hill player. Lucid finds 2.
Wow.
And the break will come in as TSM were just a slither away from going up 3-2. They double the hill, they jump into it together, and TSM will take the lead here. They're up 3-2.
Well, only 1:16 left on the game clock. It's a really good double stack, as you said. It looked like FaZe was maybe going to get the stop from control and bottom elevator. Instead, however, they double stack the hill. They make sure to also get the extra pick. That secures things. 3 dead for TSM. 1:10 left on the game clock. This has been exactly what we expected here. Back and forth between FaZe and TSM.
Important kill here from Taulek as well, because he was last alive for TSM. That's just going to slow things down a little bit, allow TSM to get on the map and put this push together. And off the back of it, Manny will find the second kill now inside of that hill. Now turn your memory back to this first hill. It was completely dominated by FaZe Clan. The question is, have TSM learned from that, and will they be able to keep them at bay? With Druk picking up a double, the answer is looking like yes.
2 dead. SnakeBite also has forced to drop here. So we'll see if TSM can start to get some time. However, it was a momentary 2v2. They stopped. Camo does not get burned. Still down bottom mid with 3 dead for TSM. TriPPPeY, however, looks like going to go for the grab.
2 players going to flood bottom middle. Smart play to put the numbers there from FaZe, knowing that Taulek was the last alive in that position. Manny with a nice little perfect, though, has made this a little bit dicier.
Where's that
Pznguin still inside of that hill. Insta-Slow's going to go in there, doesn't quite connect to get the kill. SnakeBite and TriPPPeY will find a couple, and TSM now have to go. They have to get a little bit desperate now.
Taulek, last player alive. Desperate indeed. 35 seconds left, and just going to have to hope help is going to come. He's going to have to try to force. Trade is big, though, there. This should be at FaZe hill.
Didn't get the trade, though. TriPPPeY stayed alive in that situation. Got the beatdown, and FaZe will tie the game up. With 35 seconds left on this game clock, more than likely we're going to be going towards sudden death, unless FaZe can stay in that hill. Next hill will win here. A nice double kill coming in from Pznguin as well with that battle rifle. FaZe control the blue tunnel here. And TSM are going to have to force FaZe onto the back foot here.
FaZe looks so strong in this home stretch. Lucid, by the way, 24 and 14, putting up huge numbers here. Already 50% of the way done here on what could be the final hill.
TSM doubling the back of this hill. SnakeBite inside of it. Pznguin doing some great damage. Jiggle peeking around this blue box, but he's going to be taken down. TSM, 2 of them will fall. Last 2 are going to be at the back of blue. Druk is no shield. SoulSnipe, the last hope. He will go down as well. And it should be FaZe now who can step in that hill and should be about to convert this game.
Yeah, based on the spawns, they got to drop stacks here immediately. I don't think they'll have the time. This really should be it.
Taulek just waiting bottom middle, seeing if he can get someone else to challenge with him, but he'll take damage on the way forward. Pznguin with a double, Lucid with the third, and FaZe close out game number 1, 4-3 here on Recharge King of the Hill. But boy, not a bad game to start things off here, was it?
Not at all. Down to the wire, back and forth. A 4-3 game 1 between these two. But specifically, I want to highlight the numbers that SnakeBite and Lucid had to put up in that game. Unbelievable. What was required out of those two just to get to a narrow 4-3 win. Let's not forget, they were also trailing at one point as well. I believe the final numbers were close to something like 25 and 14 for Lucid. SnakeBite not too far off of those numbers. We'll take a look and see exactly what we have here on board. It was going to be 25 and 15, as we said, from Lucid. SnakeBite goes 22 and 15 in a narrow win, 4-3 for FaZe to start things off. It wasn't comfortable, but they got the job done.
Yeah, 4-3. You'll take it all day. First game of the tournament, first big game in pools as well. You will take that win however it comes. And I think, understandably, a lot of eyes coming into this event were on SnakeBite and Lucid, right? A lot of questions asked about what went wrong with the SSG roster, with the names that were on it. Some people were blaming them. They got dropped. They were the ones who were released from the team. Well, they've shown that they are still two incredible players when it comes to those big games and those big moments. Massive stats from them in game 1, and that's going to bode well for their confidence moving forward.
Yeah, really will. And also, I think we should maybe put an asterisk even on the 4-3, because really, if FaZe looks at that, that should have been a very easy third hill. That should have been a 2-1, and from there, they might have had a very different road. However, TSM puts up a great fight. A lot of that went down to, as we said, that steal of the hill in Turbine. That will now lead us to Live Fire Slayer for game number 2.
Yeah, Live Fire Slayer, and I have been harping on about Slayers for about 2 years now.
I was going to say years.
It is what wins series. It is TSM who have won series, like Wes was saying on the desk, through winning these Slayers in these best of 5s. You know, 2 of the 5 game types are Slayer in these best of 5s.
Always, by the way.
Never changes. Been the same. You've got to make sure you get these right. If FaZe go up by 2 here, then they will feel extremely confident to close out one of the next 3. But TSM take this game number 2, then they will want to think about a game 5, knowing that they can get the job done in Slayer.
And I believe even at the 0-second mark, right, someone got stuck as well. It would have been a difference maker. But regardless, that series behind us, TSM knows they know how to play the Slayers, and they know how to clutch up. The question is, will they be able to do it against FaZe Clan? They got to make sure that they just shrug off that game number 1, because they certainly have left themselves with a lot to think about. If things went differently, they could have stolen that game out from under them.
Yeah, something that's probably a good thing here for TSM as well. No flag game types in this series that we do have in front of us as we hop into our game number 2. And the reason that I highlight that is FaZe have been very good online in those flag game types. But Slayer is going to be our focus right now, and our focus is going to be on a man called SnakeBite.
Knows he should have got that kill. You see the head kind of just hit back, because he wanted to finish that kill. It looked like a guaranteed kill that would come in cuts, and now instead Penguin's going to just do what he can to stay alive with the snipe. First few kills will go to TSM.
Yeah, staying alive with that sniper rifle is so important. And 3 dead on the side of TSM, so even after a slow start from FaZe, losing a couple of battles on that power-up side of the map, they are going to have control of the sniper rifle and keep the game tied up. So important moments there for them, and a smart decision from Pznguin just to make sure that rifle stays in their hands.
What was just 3-1 now goes 4-4 as FaZe Clan makes sure that they keep things not only close, but as you say, with the snipe in hand, 4 shots still left, and we'll see where the break's going to be. Kills now exchange once again. SoulSnipe picks up 1, so does SnakeBite. That brings us to 6-5 TSM. A big camo opportunity for SnakeBite.
Taulek spotting him out. Looking for that stick. SnakeBite just trying to put himself in a frustrating position to chase down here for TSM so that he can come back and influence some of these fights. There's 1. Wow. There's 2 for SnakeBite. That's a killing spree for him. 5-2 at the start of this game, but the game tied up at 8-8.
SnakeBite again with an enormous start, more than double positive off of the opening, and really nice, as you said, camo plays on the key door ledge to make sure that he controlled that lane, is able to go back to concrete to make sure those 2 kills are cleaned up, and as you say, we're tied at 8.
Very deliberate and slow pace to this game at the moment, though. Is that everyone is very aware. I mean, as you said, 2 dead can turn into a 10-kill difference.
As you said, this has the feels of a later bracket stage, right? This has the feels of a Slayer that you'd see in a winner's final between these 2, and no one wanting to give either team an inch. You don't always get to see this in the first match of a tournament on Pool Play Friday. Usually it's a little bit of blowouts, but instead just a 1-kill game and a very slow-paced, methodical game with a lot of respect being shown from both sides.
That's probably because this man still has the sniper rifle as well. He picks off 1 headshot, then there's a body that gets cleaned up by SnakeBite. So TSM want to slow this game down. They know if it gets quick, that it's going to be a little bit difficult for them to break with that sniper rifle harrowing one of those lanes they're trying to progress on the map. But finally they take down Pznguin. Finally that sniper rifle will be out of commission, and at 11-11, TSM done a great job considering they've not had snipe or camo in this first passage of play.
Yeah, they really have here. They've managed to keep this thing close, and just like they did in game number 1, but kind of a very similar story with FaZe with a narrow lead. Good shots do come in from Manny to keep the game close yet again. However, it's SnakeBite that spoils that with a nice flank here. This next camo will be big.
3 in a row for SnakeBite. By the way, just casually 9-2 in this game.
In a game they lead by 2-1.
You would have thought people would have learned by now that the last thing you want to do in any tournament situation is piss SnakeBite off, because he will come back and put on a performance that everyone will remember. 18 and 2-17 in this game with just over 9 minutes left. Nobody really getting a commanding lead so far.
Camo and Snipe about to be in the mix. I'm curious if we see a game blow wide open here, or if things are just kind of going to go trade for trade yet again here, 20-19 in favor of FaZe.
Yeah, trade for trade is exactly what happens. It's SnakeBite who gets the 3rd kill here, which will leave him in a 1v1 on the map versus Druk. That's how tight this game is. There is Druk though, and he has the repulse, which makes that fight heavily in his favor. But as a result, Means we're tied up again, 22-22. We have not seen more than a 1 or 2 kill advantage for the entirety of this game.
Man, we called Pool D the pool of death for a reason here, and even though we saw FaZe, as we said, opt into this pool by taking the seed, opting out of the last tournament to get here, you can just tell that this pool is as tight as it is here, 22-22, just tied at the halfway mark.
Talk about the strong performances so far from SnakeBite. Well, Lucid having a little bit of a slow start. He's only got 1 kill on to his name at the moment. 2 dead here for TSM as a 2-kill gap will be established here by FaZe, which feels like a chasm at this point in the game from what we've seen.
Also, what an opportunity. We talked about this year, how many players have their kind of career story on the line in this year. And now that we know that it's the final year of Halo Infinite, that changes the story even more. And what brings me to that point is SnakeBite, 11-5 here. He knows how much is on the line. Great trade comes out in the end from Pznguin. 3 will fall for TSM. But with SnakeBite putting up numbers like this, 12-5 over double positive, you have the feeling that this man is here to show up for the final 3 events of the season.
6 kills now the difference. Ever since that small gap opened up in the favor of FaZe, they have started to take a bit of control into their own hands. Druk does get away with staying alive. As now we're going to see a triple kill getting picked up by him. He's starting to come to life here.
So we talked about blow the game wide open, and when they do, can they capitalize? As the old saying goes, when you get ahead, what do? You get more ahead. And guess what? With a lead like this, they also grab the camo off the back of it.
36-28, they're starting to take over a little bit here. SnakeBite with the classic, thought that was a frag. Turns out it's a spike grenade. But he knows this one's a back whack, gets the back smack. Looking for more as well, as 2 TSM players will once again be in that death screen.
And this was the danger for both sides. This time it's TSM who's the victim of it. To allow FaZe Clan this much space on the map, to allow a player like SnakeBite to have 14 on the board, it was always going to blow wide open. Now they're up here by 12.
3 dead here for TSM. 8 to go for FaZe to close this game out and be up 2-0 in this series. Sniper was popping top middle as well, but SnakeBite's more interested in damaging spawners here, trapping all of TSM in a position where whoever gets that snipe is going to have somewhat of a field day.
And you got the feeling here FaZe has done the hard work at the mid-game. Let's not forget this game was just tied at 22. And instead, we now see ourselves with a very different home stretch. A nice double kill for SnakeBite. He's not done yet, putting on a show in game number 2.
16-7 for SnakeBite in this game. TSM still with 2 in the death screen. Another player drops bottom middle. He's got a snipe. But SnakeBite has momentum. He takes him down and adds another to the tally. 17-7. He is positive 10.
Man, if there was any doubts about what this guy was going to be up to for the rest of the year, let this game be a statement so far. In games 1 and 2, SnakeBite putting on an absolute show. They only need 2 more kills here.
TriPPPeY looking for 1. Spots the repulse out, doesn't want to go for that trade, but he doesn't need to get involved because his teammates will do the job for him. 50-35, FaZe up by 2.
And in a game that, as we said, was tied at the mid-game, instead to have that game end in a 50-35, which, by the way, at this level of competitive Halo is not a close slayer, right? That is kind of a bit of a sign of disrespect here. Nearly a steak dinner, a 15-kill lead in the end. Shows you that the patience of FaZe Clan, like we said, we saw it in game number 1 as well. That's why they won the game on King of the Hill. It's also the case in the Slayer. They're patient till the midway mark, right? They had a time where they had to play out one of the camos. They needed to play slow on concrete and pillars. That's exactly what they did. And when you look at kind of players like Lucid, like SnakeBite, when they can slow the game down like that and be patient for the opportunities, once they get the chance, they blow the game wide open, they win it by 15.
Yeah, a huge, huge win for them. Like you say, 15 the difference in the end in that final score. And I'm going to give a lot of credit to them in the way that they played around the trades, right? When they didn't get the trades, all the players that were left alive on FaZe were thinking is, stay alive 6-7 seconds. Yep. Stay alive, just do a little bit of damage. But most importantly, if I'm alive for that long, the attention's on me, my teammates can get back on the map, and then they can help me survive even more. So FaZe just, one thing they're very, very good at is just making sure that the amount of risks they're taking, they keep it to a minimum. It's always efficient Halo for them, and as we head towards match number 3 now, map number 3 in this series, you can see with 2 games already in the bag, it's 1 more, and they 3-0 TSM.
They've certainly hit a little bit of morale on the TSM side. If they can continue this, they want to, as you said, end it right here, right now. Not learn about what games 4 and 5 might have in store.
Did you see TriPPPeY's tweet, by the way, on the way over? On the plane?
I don't know if I did.
Very good. Just, you know the little pocket you have on the seat in front?
Of course.
Just a pack of Cheez-Its. Guy's ready to go.
He's always got the Cheez-Its ready to go.
He's got the Cheez-Its ready to go. Doesn't have to bring him out in the series yet, but maybe if it goes to 2-1, we will see him bring out the cards. Well, it looks like we're ready for game number 3. FaZe 2 to the good up against TSM. TSM need to strike back here if we want to see a little bit of a longer series.
See what they can do, and they're going to be grateful that it's oddball here. It's going to give them just a little bit of breathing room. Like we said, no CTFs in this series, so instead to see themselves in a round-based oddball where they can take this one rotation at a time, slow it down, to think about their spawn, push together, and to have a best of 3 rounds maybe just gives them a little bit of breathing room to get back into this series.
All these years into Infinite, and every single time I see that neon ramen bowl, it makes me want ramen.
Yes.
That's not going to change.
No. Each and every time. Same for me, and I feel like I never make good on that. We're going to have to see what SLC has in store in the ramen department, and we'll have to see also what game 3. Yeah, send us the recommendations, please, and we'll have to see what game number 3 has in store for this series. Will TSM get back into the series, or will we see FaZe closing it out here and now? We're underway in game number 3.
Game number 3 is live, and as we wait for the first kill to come in, just want to give a shout out to the room, by the way. So many people already here at SLC at the second major of the year. I'm looking forward to hearing the noise coming out of the crowd for these players and teams as the weekend progresses. Speaking of progression, Pznguin with a little slide into PD there, secures the kill, and the oddball is in FaZe's hands.
Early hold here for FaZe, and also early red gun control from Pznguin. We've seen him do damage with this in many, many ways, without a doubt. Going to try to stay alive, and he does, gets the assist. It's an early 20-point lead here for FaZe Clan, and couldn't agree more, Mark. Ooh, nice little evasion of the nade. Finally, he's taken down, but I couldn't agree more. Amazing Friday crowd here already at this major here in Salt Lake City. Unsurprisingly, when you have a match like this to start the day, you expect the main stage to be filled up.
All ball in a neutral position at the moment. TSM will finally get it in their hands. Taulek being a little bit of a nuisance. He's furthest up at the map at the moment. TSM holding it in and around Arcade at the moment, so they don't have control of an end of the map around the tower or, of course, towards the tram side. So it's a little bit of an odd setup for them at the moment. If they don't check their corners here, FaZe, they might be in for a surprise, but they're too experienced for that.
Taulek with a very nice timing push there, actually. He was kind of in the crosshairs of 3 players, but actually got to the boxes with his shields not yet charged. However, FaZe, as you said, very wise on checking that corner together. They don't allow any trades. That is 2 dead still for FaZe. TSM, but a nice little stick comes in from Manny to even things up just a bit. Yeah, a little bit of repulse stick there. Just make sure he takes one with him, but TSM losing numbers in this fight. Another trade here on the B stairs, but Lucid will be able to collect that odd ball. The numbers staggered in the favor of FaZe momentarily, and TriPPPeY securing that tower off of his respawn means that Lucid can bring that ball back and turn his attention to some kills, but a nice pinch from TSM through bottom middle. And on the Arcade side now means that FaZe will be 3, make that 4 dead, and TSM should be able to grab the ball and that camo as well. Unofficial triple comes in there for Taulek, and as you said, it's a perfect pinch there with the music, and the timing on the laundry jump to take down Lucid was key. It looks like they were going to have the rotation, but instead, they get even more time on the board, and TSM will now go into the lead and maintain camo control.
Mentioned how TSM only need to get one little play go their way, and all of a sudden, that switch gets flicked, and they start to look like the team who placed in those Championship Sunday later stages at that last event. Pznguin has the red gun though. Manny's going to find that camo, disappears at just the wrong time, gets the trade. But in that situation, you want a little bit more, but TSM do have a lead in this game, in this round, but FaZe should have an opportunity to grab a little bit of time here as Lucid scoops that ball up.
2 dead for both sides. We'll see as TSM looks for a timing push. They'll fly in right away, but it's really good laning coming in from Pznguin with the red gun. He's forced to retreat. Here comes the push.
Interesting to highlight as well, though. Objective time for FaZe at the moment, it's all Lucids. SnakeBite finally gets his first second on the board, just to ruin my statement, as Pznguin now continues to look forward with Lucid alongside him, and maybe dropping that off was the right call, as Lucid will find 2.
Such good switching here from Pznguin. We've seen him time and time again, just single-handedly dealing a whole ton of damage and then staying alive at A. However, finds himself as one of 2 last alive.
Oh, has a nice little double kill as well. Immediately turns his attention towards the pink streak, gets the call out that SoulSnipe is going to be creeping up, and he was momentarily the last alive as another kill was picked up by Lucid onto Manny. So oddball heavily in the hands of FaZe right now, and TSM just looking to break some time here to get the numbers to break the setup of FaZe.
How long has Pznguin been alive at A? Feels like 2.5 minutes. This is unbelievable. Just holding down this area, and that double kill that he got bottom A had no business doing so. That keeps him alive. Finally, he'll get pitched out, but look what it did for the scoreboard. It's now a big lead here at 61-39 for FaZe.
But TSM buying that time and waiting those few extra seconds now means that they have been able to break. And with 3 dead on the side of FaZe, very similar story to what we saw before, because it's not just the break, it's not just the oddball that's in their hands. They get that next camo as well.
See what they can do with here. Trailing by only about 15 or so. Continuing to claw back at the score, and now with red gun control, maybe an opportunity to get the first pick. They lead, excuse me, they trail by less than 10.
All the goodies in their hands at the moment here. TSM red gun, we mentioned the camo. And we're about to see a lead change as well.
Rotate here.
This setup is what we saw before. Little ninja in the feed, by the way, from Taulek. We know not to get too excited about them until we see the replay, because we all know and have been on the receiving end of things that were like, huh?
We need to see the tape before we get too excited. Too dead though, but what a rotate. What a rotate first of all the tram, and then what a rotate as they take the tram bait, and now the lead here. Perfectly done to get that ball up driveway through music. Now it's all the way back at PD. Very nice, essentially nearly a 360-degree rotation coming in. You don't always see that. TSM now leads 79-61.
As Taulek has been leading the way for kills here for TSM. He's 12-5 in this game. Everyone else kind of hovering around even. On the FaZe side, slow here for Lucid. And slow here for TriPPPeY as well. 80 points on the board, already collected as TSM look to get this round on the board. They feel like 1 or 2 more team fights going their way, and this should be a TSM round. They get 2 dead. They move that ball back to tower. PD spawns are going to be blocked as well, so this might be an opportunity for TSM to close out here, but Lucid with the first pick. Maybe there's hope for FaZe to break.
That's what we were all looking for. SoulSnipe as well. Was any PD spawns? They do not come in here. Final 5 seconds.
Big damage. Can they get the kill? Yes, they can. They break at just the last moment.
Oh boy.
TSM with 2 in the death screen, and TriPPPeY makes it 3. Last player alive is going to be Taulek. He's just trying to get in a position to trade here. Won't trade. He stays alive because SoulSnipe comes in at the last second.
He's still alive as well.
And now things get shaky on the side of FaZe.
Wow. What a big deal that trade would have been. Instead, it's not. Here comes the push. Here comes the pressure. Taulek still alive.
No trade again, but TSM find themselves 3 dead. FaZe will get that oddball.
SoulSnipe has to wait.
TriPPPeY will get that camo as well. And FaZe have a chance here. But they will have to be perfect in these last few moments.
Wow. Talk about down to the wire. Everything on the line for TriPPPeY. This is going to be the final push for TSM. They need to make it happen right now.
Druk with that red gun wins the fight against TriPPPeY.
Do they go for the grab?
That is huge because the numbers are there as well for TSM. They go for the grab. And off the back of the 1v1 win, thanks to that Stalker rifle, TSM will close out round number 1. And all of a sudden, our eyebrows are lifted and our eyes are wide, because this, all of a sudden, is looking like a very different feeling series.
As you said, what a win from Druk on benches. It's the kill that makes him go positive in the game, but much more importantly, it is the kill that wins the round against the camo player. And you have to wonder about the play call from FaZe Clan, rotating that to bottom C stairs, and benches left them pretty open to a lot of angles. And of course, it's easy for us to call, hindsight being 20/20, but in the end, regardless, it costs FaZe Clan. TSM takes the first round in the final moments.
It's like one of those situations where in your face, it's like they have camo, they're kind of juggling the ball, we want to let the camo play. It's like you're trying to do too much because you've got too much. It makes the decisions a little bit more convoluted, a little bit more complicated on how you try and close out those first moments, but sometimes it comes down to the big moment, right? And that's the 1v1. We saw the Stalker rifle in the hands of Druk to win that fight and that engagement that gave TSM the space to grab that ball. Big swing moments in the final seconds as TSM will be up by 1, but FaZe answering back strongly at the start here of round number 2.
And you start to wonder, maybe it's a little bit of deja vu from that game number 1 when FaZe Clan gave up a hill when trying to bait the game clock. Maybe it's going to be a repeat, because so far the scoreline is indicating that FaZe Clan has no intentions of losing this second round. They're already up 34-1.
Enemy has the ball. Ball drop.
Ball in PD at the moment, but everyone just kind of finding it a bit scrappy. A couple of trades coming in on back tower, and Pznguin decides, you know what, let's try and get this out towards a spawner. Let's make this even more scrappy. Let's see if I can get out of this situation with a trade. But unfortunately, he comes out of it without doing any damage whatsoever. It was 3 dead on the side of FaZe, and TSM, momentary numbers and a pinch on the last 2 players of FaZe here should get these kills. And I think that also Taulek spotted out that spawner at Cafe as well.
What looked like it was going to be a nice little delay coming in from FaZe instead does not play in their favor because TSM collapses so fast. It was 4 dead stagger for FaZe Clan. TSM playing that what could have been a very different scenario very well on the timing to bait that into plans, into concrete, as well as into PD. And they will now cut the lead in half. See where this camo goes. That could really determine if TSM gets right back into this game, and they're going to grab it.
And Taulek, the turret in that situation, just standing bottom middle, waiting for that camo to come up. But with that battle rifle doing so much damage and continuing to contribute to kill after kill after kill. TSM will go into a lead in the next few moments. And this man has been a damage machine.
Masterclass from Taulek. This has been absolutely beautiful. He was taking risky damage there over at Cafe. He knew he could have been taken down. He gets both assists, gets the third assist, and as his shields are still charging, starts the first engagement to push them back even further. It's perfect from Taulek, and it's a huge comeback. They were trailing by 36. They now lead 54-36 here. TSM leading again in the second round.
Now Taulek just continuing to just contribute damage. He's 18 and 10 in this game, but it feels like every time we're on his POV, he is finding a way to not just output damage, but survive as well. It's 3 dead for FaZe Clan, and TSM are coming to life in this game.
Unbelievable. 19, 18, and 10. Do not adjust your monitor. Those stats are unbelievable from Taulek, leading not only in kills in the game, just trailing, by 1 to Druk, but leading by a huge margin in the assist category with 18. Those are wild numbers here as he continues to add objective time to the piece of the puzzle as well.
Another fight he takes. This one he won't win. Finally, the momentum just gets stopped by TriPPPeY. But Druk's got some of his own at the moment. 21 and 14 for him with 11 assists as well. 3 dead on the side of FaZe once more. SnakeBite trying to at least take one with him. Opal down a little bit of a funky position though for both teams to try and access, but now with 3 dead for FaZe, you can take all the routes you want, you can take all the time you want because nobody is going to be there to stop TSM grabbing that Opal once more.
TSM just fine with the funk, they'll take it and they will continue rolling. They bring it back into Tram here, only 15 points from closing out the game.
Big 1v1 here, a little bit of sprint strafe coming in from Druk as well. That's going to solidify the 1v1 win for him, and FaZe starting to get a little bit desperate here. And that's because of the clock, that's because of the time, and it's going to be TSM, who have 3 members of FaZe dead, with TriPPPeY falling as the 4th, who will take this round in just 1 second. Druk should be able to grab this ball.
Especially with that pick. They're going to wait, they're going to bait, they're going to get a few kills here, and then they will comfortably be able to grab 4 dead.
4 dead. Make a statement, TSM. They are back in this series as they will take this game. And like we mentioned, 2-1 feels a lot different to a 2-0.
I will say maybe a few FaZe fans in the building based on the lack of applause coming after that win for TSM. They get the game on the board. They might not have the crowd on their side. However, they certainly will take the game number 3 win, and run away with it. Now everything gets a lot more interesting. Mark, a lot to talk about in that game number 3 from TSM. It is a flawless victory, trailing 36-0 in round number 2, and they win it comfortably in the end.
Yeah, think about how close that first round was as well. There's a few moments that went their way, big individual fights being won in that final last passage of play to secure round number 1. But we mentioned it, we talked about it. There's something magical about this TSM team. It takes 1 moment. And all of a sudden, they look like a different team. The 1 moment came at the end of that first round. And then round 2, they just wiped the floor with FaZe.
Exactly. You see, look at this. I mean, it's a different energy. Look at the body language of this team now on the main stage, right? Focus. You just saw Taulek. You just saw the rest of the squad as well, as SoulSnipe's kind of just locking in, and you could tell they're talking now strategy. What do they want to do in game number 4? They look deflated after games 1 and 2. Instead, they look not only good on the stage, they look good in game as well.
21 assists for Taulek, and we saw exactly how he was putting those assists together. He was outputting damage, damage, damage. His teammates were moving so well around him to finish off those kills. And not only that, he stays alive while doing so. He has the least deaths in the game. He has joint most kills. It is a phenomenal individual performance, but also a team performance to allow those statistics to exist.
Over 5x the assists of Lucid, which is wild to say. Double the assists of anyone else on the side of FaZe Clan. Absolutely unbelievable. We'll take a look at some highlights from that game number 3, and what a game it was. I mean, TSM is back in this series in a big way.
This is the final moments of this first round as well. And you can see it was kind of a little bit of a sticky situation for FaZe. They wanted to put the player who had camo in a position to have the most influence in the game, but they got a little bit bunched up, and that 1v1 win from Druk allowed everybody else to just swarm towards that Opal, swarm towards those final kills. And off the back of that, round number 2 just really felt like it was all TSM.
And it all started there in Cafe. What a run it was from Taulek, and anyone who's played enough or watched enough Halo Infinite knows exactly what I mean. To see the risks he was taking with camo time and time again, he's engaging in times he could have easily been neutralized. To have the confidence,
TSM, it is a flawless
and the
victory.
understanding
36-0.
Series as they would take this
to be able to slowly move back into those engagements, know that he was taking a risk in engaging with low shield with the camo, but knowing exactly how to pick apart FaZe Clan. That really just paved the way for them to run away with that round. They close it out 2-0. They are right back in the series.
And an interesting game type to have as our next one as well. Typically fairly low scoring when it comes to those objectives and those bombs being planted here on Aquarius. TSM with the momentum here. If they get that first convincing piece of control on the map, they pick up a couple of kills, they pick up a couple of 3-4 deads. Being up by 1 in this game, that could be the final result here. TSM need to ride this wave of momentum, and FaZe have to stop it early.
I think also continue the speed, right? What won them that game was making sure that they were collapsing on the 3rd and 4th alive so quickly time and time again. They know what they have to do. It will be a tall order, but getting in the opponent's base and being an absolute nuisance in their util will be the difference maker here. TSM boys looking to lean on that confidence. And I don't mean physically, I mean metaphorically.
Here we go,
back into
we're in the
series.
next game, everyone. Let's go. Welcome to game number 4. Just in time to not only save our careers, but also to keep us locked into this series. TSM just won that previous game of Oddball and made the series 2-1. And now they're looking to send it to a game 5.
Right back in here, as just in case you're just joining us, in what looked like it would be a clean sweep for FaZe Clan has been interrupted. TSM steals game number 3. It's an Oddball Streets and a 2-0 win to get right back into the series here. We'll see if they can force a game number 5.
Not surprising to see it a little bit scrappy off the start here. TSM do have a 1-person advantage on the map momentarily, but Taulek's just going to be rotating back to make sure that they clean out the gen side and the car side of their base before they do anything. But I think he might have missed someone there. Someone just sneaking around, and he can't find him, and Pznguin will pick up a very vital kill here. Looks for a second as well. SnakeBite's going to help him out, so the teamwork looking very, very good here on the FaZe side, but that bomb yet to progress anywhere on the map.
Manny was last player alive. They keep 2 dead, 3 dead again. Really good pressure here as they keep 3 dead. Taulek is now your last player alive here on Pink Street. Taken down as well. Staggered spawns yet again. Only 1 alive.
Where's that bomb though? Bomb's still down bottom middle. No one from FaZe has managed to get that bomb in their hands to progress it. And TSM, as the bomb finally starts to move,
Does feel like a late grab.
are trapped in the back of their base. But Pznguin, with this green gun, strip away some shields and turn 1 kill into a double very, very quickly. And when you're trapped in the back of the base, it's a scary place to be. But Taulek out of nowhere gets the job done and clears out a few FaZe players from his gen.
1v1. See what can happen here. Big opportunity for SnakeBite to keep the pressure on. He does! Taulek's going to spawn, but he should be able to get a touch here. Most importantly, a very important 1v1. This will allow them to keep the pressure. Will the help come in time? That's the question. Can SnakeBite stay alive in the util? Based on positioning, it looks like he will be able to fight yet again.
A bit of a split of priorities here for TSM as well. It's not just the bomb they're worried about, it's camo as well. That's just bombed on top middle. And they also know the position of SnakeBite, who gets out of that situation, not getting traded out. Manny, he becomes the 2nd kill, and with 3 dead, they lose camo. That bomb is moving, and SoulSnipe's had his shields ripped apart. I'm pretty sure that no one is really in a position to stop this. It's a hero play top middle, but the 2nd touch comes in, and FaZe will strike. They will get that bomb up.
Wow, love the patience there from FaZe. I am quickly corrected. You might have heard me start to say it felt like a late bomb grab, but instead, how about SnakeBite winning the 1v1 on the stairs to keep the bomb alive? And like you said, Mark, a split of priorities to send 2 players Pink Street off the spawn there when SnakeBite is still alive in your util as a solo player. That is a decision.
Been split a bit here, TSM on the spawns as well. You can see 3 dead once again. It's a killing spree. This time, it's going to be Lucid. It's 3 dead as the spawner just jumps back onto the map here for TSM, but the bomb is already in their base. FaZe are going to go back-to-back here.
Look at this, still 2 dead. The nades will come. They don't look good. And that's going to be clean. Not even any damage taken for Lucid, as he will score the 2nd bomb of the game. And just like that, up 2-0. Unbelievable opening from FaZe Clan. Patient at first, and now they are punishing.
So efficient. Manny finally clears out a couple of players on his side of the map, and TSM will have a chance to reset. It's been an absolute whirlwind for them in the last few moments. Barely been able to get on the map.
And once again, I'm so surprised. I might not even have time. We'll see TSM now going to be able to push here and It's good pressure, but they need to get a few more picks on the board. Only Pznguin down if they can continue to advance. Here it comes.
One dead inside of the base. SnakeBite is still alive there, though. That grenade's going to give away his position, but the wrap back from TriPPPeY. There's two players here from TSM. Manny's going to reach out. He's going to find one. Bomb is down on the shroom stairs, though. Two players still wrapping back in from FaZe, just consistently pressurizing, but one of them will fall. Lucid, last man standing now. As SoulSnipe tries to trap him in that base and get that bomb towards that arming spot.
Almost gets taken down from the fridge angle, knows he needs to stay alive. Still a lot more kills to be earned if we want to see this bomb advance for TSM. And Lucid stays alive long enough to buy all the time. Still 2 dead though, maybe 3 in a second. SnakeBite with a big kill.
Yeah, just sliding down there, SnakeBite. Barely had any shields, but had enough to get his reticle onto the head of that TSM player and make sure that FaZe get a little bit of space on the map. Finally outside of their base here. And now fighting for the 50-yard line. The camo will be in the hands of Taulek. 4-7 in this game, not quite the monumental generational impact he had in that previous game in the second round, but with this camo has a chance here to create an opening here for TSM.
Lucid last player alive front base, but Lucid picks up 1, which is a big deal to keep his spawners just really in the fight. Gonna buy them a lot of time. If he had fallen solo, we might have seen the bomb moving immediately to stairs. However, TSM is gonna have to pause as a result.
Yeah, after the back-to-back bomb arms coming in from FaZe, TSM have had a good amount of map pressure here. FaZe have barely been able to get over halfway themselves, just wrapping back into their base, making sure that they keep it scrappy and they make that bomb contested. 7 minutes left on this game clock, so plenty of time for TSM to work with, but they're going to have to get it right numerous times here. One mistake, and that will be game and series going to FaZe.
It's a big opportunity here for TSM. It was 3 dead momentarily here. They're going to have to flush out both the stairs. 3 dead. Once again, Lucid last player alive back base. Let's see what he does. He picks up a kill yet again. Taulek knows that had he got that one, it could have been a very different fate. Instead, the bomb is tossed out right away.
An easy kill in the front of the base here for Lucid. Will indeed find that one. Second player is going to be even more simple. It's a double kill handed to him thanks to his teammates' damage on the map. Now wrapping through the pink side, blocking these fridge spawns and forcing TSM onto the car side of the map.
Big assist once again for Lucid and Pznguin, both on double-digit numbers. SoulSnipe wins that one. It will be traded out in the end, but as another camo goes to Pznguin, you have to think for TSM, a big opportunity here because even though you're trailing 2-0, this is the type of game type. Beautiful shots coming in from Pznguin. The type of game type where you can really afford to be continually aggressive, and because of the nature of the game type, you can go 4 dead and still live to fight through the next battle. So we'll have to see if TSM really puts their foot down on the gas in these final 6 minutes.
That was a really important kill on Pznguin, actually. He had the camo. He was trying to use the thrust across that line of sight to get into the TSM base where he really could be a nuisance. But instead, a couple of players off the damage turned around and made sure that he was dealt with. So TSM, dealing with the biggest threat on the map there, has now allowed them just to progress and finally get out of their base.
3 dead here for TSM, 3 dead for both sides. 1v1 Taulek versus Lucid, as Lucid is just going to try to stay alive and once again see if he can challenge any spawners here.
Flips the shields away from Manny. Just a little touch. Oh my god, and a touch and a snap.
Wow.
Onto Manny there to get that kill. Finally taken down here by Druk as the shields don't quite recharge in time. But a little touch on the bomb there just to move it to the car side as he was last alive. Interesting as well. Knowing that wherever he is on the map, it's likely that the FaZe are going to be spawning closer. So it keeps that bomb more in their control than the last alive player from TSM.
Not gonna lie, that was nasty from Lucid to see that play out, to see how hard the pre-nade hit, but he did not hold back. Flies right in and hits the 180 to close that kill. Now SnakeBite with 3 dead wants to end it here.
Damage being taken, but Manny, he's going to be spotted out. He's got a player inside of the base. This could be the series. This could be the game. TriPPPeY is alongside him, gets a kill. Trying to focus now with that battle rifle onto Druk. Pznguin, closest player alive, who could get that touch and look to get that arm. But FaZe will lose 3, and TSM with a goal line stand in front of their base. Not just for the game, but for the series as well.
Needed to make the ceiling nades count, and they did. You thought, I agree, I thought we were going to see a finish. They had 2 players stacked. However, it looks like the nade damage did the trick. 2 will fall, and TSM will live to fight for at least another few minutes here. We'll see if they can get a bomb on the board.
SoulSnipe getting that camo is so important as well because FaZe are picking up kills all around the map. Outside of that, Lucid being a little slippery pickle. Finally will be taken down. 25 seconds until that bomb resets. I'm sure FaZe would love to get a touch on it. Pznguin last alive though, and TSM have actually done a fantastic job from almost seeing the series flash before their eyes to now being in control of the map.
Ooh, very nicely done here once again from SoulSnipe as well. He flew right in right away. And I even love the damage, the little bit of damage he got on Pznguin top middle, just making sure he's part of every battle that he can be.
Druk takes the 1v1, SoulSnipe will clean it up. Where's that
There we
bomb?
go.
It's in their hands.
Oh-ho.
FaZe are 3 dead. Lucid gets spotted out. He's last alive. TSM will half the deficit. They will arm the bomb and make this a 2-1 game. A few seconds ago, they were probably thinking about who we play next. And now they're thinking about sending this series the distance.
And they do it without forfeiting a lot of time in the game clock. There's still a lot to play here, and we said they needed to get one on the board. Now that they've done that, they can take their time. They can find the right mix of kills. They don't have to be desperate. If they feel like they need to slay just a bit more, they can. 3:20 left on the clock.
Bomb taken. Bomb taken.
SnakeBite just moving that bomb towards the FaZe side of the map. 4 dead here for TSM, so even though the momentum is probably just shifted a little bit in their favor off the back of that bomb arm, FaZe answer back immediately, which is so important for them. We saw how a double arm can happen very, very quickly if control is kept. Well, FaZe do manage to fight out of that situation and now have control of the majority of Aquarius here.
Yeah, this is exactly what you want if you're FaZe. Just continue to play this game. Use that 1 bomb cushion. 3 will fall, though. Here comes the run. TriPPPeY with a big kill as the solo player. Looks like he probably will be taken down. Good damage, though.
3 dead for FaZe. Last player's in front of the base. Pznguin will trade out 1.
Huge.
That is vital for allowing the rest of his team back on the map. But TSM starting to swarm now. Starting to move up towards the FaZe side of the map.
Ooh, where does this camo go? This could be big. Not burned. Somehow, some way, Manny stays alive and dodges the nades that follow. And this camo could decide the game.
Lucid spotted him out. TriPPPeY!
Lucid and
Had to
TriPPPeY.
hit the perfect shots and manages to do so.
How annoying from Lucid, huh? Just BR popping shots. Hopping around, and TriPPPeY comes in to finish the camo. That could be the dagger, but there's still 2 minutes left to play.
Bomb's down on the pink side here. It's going to make it dicey for both sides. Spawns are going to be close to where that bomb is, which means that LOSs are going to be available for both teams. Better probably for FaZe, knowing that they can come off the spawn with having that lead in their hands. Can make sure that they can keep eyes on that bomb, but TSM now starting to move it towards the front of the base. SnakeBite's going to fall, but Druk is last alive. He goes down as well. 4 dead for TSM. 1 minute 35 here for FaZe to survive.
Really good teamwork there from FaZe. You saw when SnakeBite got a lot of damage. The team is able to clean it up, and now they get the first pick as well on SoulSnipe, which is going to buy them just a little bit more comfort. 2 dead, now 3 dead again. Last player alive, back base.
And do you go for the kill shot here?
Oh my god, the thrust!
Do you go for the kill shot? It is going to be FaZe and Lucid who clear the path for this bomb. But with 1 minute 14 left on the clock, the decision has to be made. Do we go for the arm? Or do we just play a little bit of Slayer? TSM overextending to try and take top mid control. They're going to 3-man lane this, but the shot's coming in from Lucid and the bomb arm coming in. This is looking like FaZe should take the game, that FaZe should take the series. At the last second, the storm comes in. They don't get the arm. But TSM 4 dead will finally get the arm, and FaZe will close this out 3-1 in not just this game, but in the series as well.
Cool, calm, and collected in the end is FaZe Clan, and some questions were being asked coming out of game number 3, but instead it's FaZe Clan that finds a way, as you say, to close out the game 3-1. And certainly a momentum reassuring victory for FaZe Clan. TSM fought hard, sending the series all the way to game 4. However, it's a really convincing win in the end from FaZe Clan. They have a lot to be proud of in the way that they play that Aqua Bomb for sure.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think you look at the game types overall, asterisk the oddball. Every other game type in that series, it felt like FaZe were in full control. They never felt like it was going to slip through their fingers. The game number 1, the reason it's close, a mistake from them that they'll look back on, of course. Game number 2, great control in that Slayer. And then the back-to-back efficient arms to start that game. Very, very impressive from FaZe. And kind of what we wanted to see from this roster. Sometimes you see the old school coming back together and things don't look like they once did, but this looks like a roster that certainly can perform it.
Yeah, I think a lot of FaZe fans will be reassured seeing that, right? Maybe some questions asked initially, but in the end, really happy with what they saw there.
Hunter JJX, good start for him. Worth the 9-hour drive.
I think so.
Standing behind him, just coaching him. He's like, guys, don't worry, I got this. Like, we don't win that series without me. But I think overall, it's a good confidence booster for them as well. They will probably see TSM as one of their biggest threats in that pool. Of course, they will, understandably. Still got to go through Nemesis as well, but it's looking like a brave choice that potentially really pay off for this FaZe roster.
So far paid off indeed. We knew that was not going to be an easy series, and I would say it certainly had its delivered in terms of its moments of opportunity, but SnakeBite and crew looking good in the end.
They certainly were indeed, lads. I've got to say, I'm incredibly impressed from both sides. I think FaZe managed to get the better of them this series, of course, especially with the scoreline. But really, there were a couple of decisions that could have gone either way in a few of those maps, and impressive stuff. I think a lot of things to note here, especially coming into this pool. I just don't think we are going to see blowout games. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think at this point in time in the season, this level of competition that I think we've now adopted, you know, heavily into Halo Infinite and how we're progressing as our pro teams are too, I don't see a world where we're going to have blowouts. And honestly, I'm okay with that. The competition is super high, West. What did you make of the series?
I actually thought it was a pretty dominant series from FaZe, and I think it comes down to modes,
right.
Specifically when I think of blowouts, especially like Strongholds being the major case for an opportunity to really have that level of control for a short window period of time and gain such an advantage in the scoreline. We did not see a Strongholds in this series. We did not see a CTF in this series, and because of it, I wondered how FaZe was going to fare, and they looked fantastic. The Slayer, which was the big moment in the series for me, where this is where TSM are known to extend these series and get to that game 5 where they have had so much success. That was a 50-35 game where SnakeBite decided to just take over, and because of it, I felt like it was always FaZe's to win. And then that bomb game was perfect. I mean, hardly ever do you see bomb games really get 3 points on the board.
Yeah.
And although I don't think FaZe needed to, especially with time becoming a factor, I think it was more of a statement for them moving on in the tournament to say, we want to end this by the scoreline to show that we can efficiently get this objective done when we're getting the slays. So I loved everything I saw from FaZe. On the TSM side, I thought you saw some fight back in the oddball. You saw some promising things, but you need to be better if you're going to upset some of the teams that we know you're capable of upsetting. We did not see the firepower from TSM that we're normally seeing in a big series where TSM come out on top.
Indeed. I will say I am incredibly impressed with the cadence we're seeing so far from FaZe. First LAN event together, honestly not that long on the sticks together, even in practice online, and they look really battle tested against a team like TSM. Look at this series. This is impressive to say the least. Honestly, I have to ask you about the new addition, SnakeBite, Lucid. How do you think they perform particularly?
It's so comfortable.
Yeah.
It's so comfortable. The game 1 was a real standout. You know, when you're a player who's so historied, who's had so much success, and you're questioned after a roster that just doesn't work, I think the one thing you want to do is come into the first game of the next event and go, hey, you were wrong, right? And they both put up huge numbers, not just in that first game, but of course in the second game as well. You saw from SnakeBite. You know, you question those players, you don't know more. It's as simple as that, and we're just seeing how good they are once again now.
I mean, we didn't even talk about it on the top of the show, but as someone that teamed with SnakeBite way back when he was like 15, 16 years old, to watch his career and how he's one of the most prolific, if not one of the best Halo player of all time, this is the first time he's ever been dropped. I got dropped after a lot of events. Okay, I know what it feels like to have that chip on your shoulder, and for this kid to be questioned was, it was unspeakable. I could never doubt this kid the way that he has showed up for the past 10 years, and for him to have a series to kick his tournament off with a chip on his shoulder, I'm looking forward to what SnakeBite has in store for everyone in this competition, not just TSM.